Here's a major point of learning, okay, guys? For Westerners, for people that are not familiar with this, caste is not the same thing as class. Yes, the big difference between class in the Marxian sense, or class as we know it in general, and caste is that class theoretically has social mobility, however improbable it may be, and caste doesn't. You are stuck in a caste. No matter which caste you're born into, you're stuck there for life. In a sense, yes, it is what used to be class, but has been inscribed into an ethnic-like group. Yes, you can theoretically bootstrap your way out of a class, however improbable it may be. And it is improbable, right? It is caste is a compounding factor on your class, right? But you can never change your caste. If you are born into a marginalized caste, you are fucked. You are permanently fucked. Where do Adivasis fit into the caste system? Adivasis are not part of the caste system at all. Dalits technically fall out of the Chaturvarna system entirely. They're not part of the Chaturvarna system. Adivasis are not even part of caste society. They are their own ethnic groups for the most part. They are officially called scheduled tribes, yes, but Adivasis is the way to refer to them, generally speaking, in common parlance. How recent did it get this way? It's been around for thousands of years. To add to what Arun said, Baba Saheb Ambedkar came out from one of the most oppressed castes. They were historically forced to tie a broom to their waist, to their legs actually, and drag it behind them. And an earthen pot to their necks when they went outside. Because the dust of their feet and the spittle in their mouths was deemed too impure for oppressor caste people to walk over. Yes, the main thing you have to understand about caste is untouchability. That is the most important thing you have to understand about caste. It is, how untouchable are you? How untouchable in terms of the eyes of Brahmins are you? That is the most important thing to understand about where your caste falls. How untouchable, unseeable, unapproachable are you in the eyes of Brahmins? Is caste used as a cudgel to obscure the concept of caste to the population? It's the opposite. Class is used as a cudgel to obscure the concept of caste. Communists do this all the time. Communists in India often use class reductionism, or they often talk about class more than they do about caste, because a lot of the communists in India are upper caste. A lot of the communists in India are dominant castes in their upper castes. Case in point, CPIM. I'll give you an example of this, right? I'll give you a perfect example of why I'm not like a communist or Marxist-Leninist or whatever I'm not a hammer and sickle guy, okay? Kerala Devaswam minister. Yeah, faced caste discrimination. Yeah, faced caste discrimination at temple, says Kerala minister. This is the Devaswam minister for the ruling Communist Party of India, Marxist in Kerala. All right? He faced caste discrimination in a temple. What did the Communist Party do about it? This so-called leftist party do about it? Nothing. They didn't do jack shit about it. All they said was like, oh my God, our minister was discriminated against. Oh my God, that's so bad. The communists did nothing about this. You want to know why? Because the communists in Kerala are Nayars and Nambudris. Seems like the Indian communists have lost sight of the goal a bit then, yes? That's not how this works. The communists in India were always captured by the upper castes. Ambedkar had a great quote on this. The Communist Party was originally in the hands of some Brahmin boys, Dange and others. They have been trying to win over the Maratha community in the scheduled caste, but they have made no headway in Maharashtra. Why? Because they are mostly a bunch of Brahmin boys. The Russians made a great mistake to entrust the communist movement in India to them. Either the Russians didn't want communism in India, they wanted only drummer boys, or they didn't understand. Dalit Marxists are insanely rare to see. There are almost no Dalit Marxists because all of the communist parties in India, they have been created by the upper castes. This is the same criticism that Periyar had on communists. And the same thing, by the way, if you go to the JVP in Sri Lanka, they also suck. The JVP are mostly Sinhalese. So they have never made any concessions to the Tamils in Sri Lanka. Never. Like the communists in Bengal, mostly run by Zamindar castes and Banerjees and Chatterjees, Brahmins. Yeah, this is why I don't put my stock in communist parties ever. Because communist parties almost always usually perpetuate the same kinds of expressions. I've been to Kerala once. There's hammer and sickle anywhere. Yeah, But we have Malayalis in the chat. Archana Archie will literally tell you the same super communist dudes in Kerala will literally tell women to go into the kitchen and make them a sandwich and make them roti. So I'm just with the homies trying to labor organize. We have labor unions in India. The communists have done labor unionizing. But the problem is a lot of the leadership in the Congress, it wasn't until last year. It was not until last year that a Dalit person made it onto the CPIM Politburo. It was not until last year. This is why I say don't take stock in any particular party. How bad is Kerala Congress? They're even worse. Kerala Congress might as well just be the BJP. The only reason I advocate for CPIM in Kerala is because the other option is Kerala Congress. And Congress is even worse. Kerala has the highest female literacy in India. Again, when I criticize the communists, it's not to say they have never done good things. They're incapable of doing good things. No, my criticism is that they're not the end all be all. Because it is a party just like many other parties, representation is not going to because these are Americans, these are baby leftists, or these are Americans that are understanding third world politics for the first time. That's why it's a shock to everyone. They don't understand the actual insanity of Indian politics. They don't understand it. By the way, Kerala is the best state in India I wouldn't say it's the best state, but in many metrics it is. I know women with PhDs who end up quitting their jobs 3 days after getting engaged and never working again until their kids are old enough to plan their own retirements. It doesn't mean shit. Yeah,